In this first lesson of our series of steps to recovery, we're going to jump into what the first step has to say. And here's what it says. We admitted that we're powerless over our addictions and that our lives have become unmanageable. And I believe what we're talking about here is for the addict is moving out of denial into reality. I've heard that denial isn't just a river in Egypt, but denial really means that you're rejecting the truth about yourself. And as an addict, you can't get past this first step until you learn to admit the truth about yourself. And that's what I believe admitting is. It's the opposite of denying and rejecting. And so as we jump into this first point, I want to talk about powerlessness. You see, it says that we admit that we were powerless. And what that really means is that we've lost control to make conscious decisions about our life, what we're going to do with our money and how we're going to love our family members and how we're going to be a good member of society. We've lost control to make conscious decisions and right decisions because the addiction has us in such bondage and a hold on us that we can't do anything on our own anymore. All the decisions that we do make tend to be out of control. Here's what Paul says in Romans 7, verse 18. He says, "And I know that nothing good lives in me, that is in my sinful nature. I want to do what is right, but I can't. I want to do what is good, but I don't. I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyway." You see, he's talking about this sinful nature that he has. And I want to just share with you that we all have this sinful nature. Whether you're an addict or not, we all are controlled by a sin nature. Our flesh is what it's called. The Bible says that we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But as addicts, we've chose to self-medicate to get past the hurts of that this sinful nature has caused us, and it's turned us down this path of relying on a drug rather than relying on God. I want to talk about the second point, which is when our addictions had left chaos in our lives. And this really just means when it talks about we admitted that we were powerless and that our lives have become unmanageable, it's that we made so many different decisions in our lives that caused chaos. It really left a mess behind. We've hurt people, we've lied, and we've cheated, and we've spent all of our money and just made wrong decisions. And here's what Paul says about chaos. It says, "When we were controlled by our old nature, sinful desires were at work within us. And the law aroused these evil desires that produced a harvest of sinful deeds resulting in death." And I believe when he's talking about these deeds that resulted in death, he's talking about the choices that he made in the sins. And the Bible says that the wages of sin is death. And so the consequence of the sin is a death to something. You see, because if you spend all your money, then you're probably in a lot of financial hurt and a financial problem. There's a death to your finances. You may have hurt people, relationships may have ended, and that's as a result of sin putting an end to the relationship. And I believe that's what he's talking about there. But as if you scan back over Romans chapter 7, Paul talks a lot about how the law made him aware of his sin, and it made him want to do it even more. So I want to encourage you, don't label yourself an addict, because there is hope for you, and you can learn to live by with a biblical worldview instead of by your sinful nature. And if we will just admit that we're powerless, we admit that we caused chaos in our lives, that we're ready to change, then that's the first step on our road to recovery.